Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Hello all and welcome back to my channel, Drunk Crafts with Paige. I am Paige and I am actually not drinking anything alcoholic this week. I just have a big glass of juice because I was feeling particularly dehydrated today. I know the channel says Drunk Crafts with Paige, but please remember to stay hydrated, friends. We are back on our resin game this week, and it is time for another mystery mold. For those of you who missed our first video, I recently added a bunch of 3D silicone molds to my collection, and that's different than what we usually do with resin. We have made a lot of coasters and just flat wall hangs, so I was very excited to have some 3D molds, and I thought it would be fun to slowly reveal them to you guys by doing a game. I will show you the mold and give you some of the dimensions, and you can try to formulate it all and figure out what we are making with resin before I decide to demold the piece near the end. So here is our mold for this week. There are 4 of them. It's all the same thing. I'll rotate it around. And this is the back. They just look like little dots. The openings on these are roughly 1/2 inch, and they are about close to 3/4 of an inch in diameter. It's just mostly a circle. That's the best measurement that I can give you guys. And as I said, there are 4 of them, and all of these are the exact same shape. So they're actually pretty tiny. But I'm excited to show you guys what these are a mold of and what we're going to be doing with them once the resin is cured. So if you would like to play along this week, please continue watching. Because this mold is so small, I thought it would be nice if we could just dust the inside of these figures with some mica powder. Now I want to do 2 of these with just clear, regular resin, and I would like to do the other 2 with some black in the resin. I really like the look of having the dark black resin and then having a different color powder on top. It just really makes the powder pop, and I think that will look super cool for what this mold is for. So for these 2 that we are going to be doing just clear resin, I'm going to dust some some Dusty Rose and some Winter, which is like a silvery blue kind of color. And now for the 2 that are going to have black resin in there, I want to put some different kind of darker colors that I think are gonna pop a little bit more having the black resin in there. So the first one is going to have some of this purple, which actually kind of looks more like magenta-y, and this dark purple, and then I'm going to use the same dark purple and try to blend it with this sky blue and green pearl to kind of give like an sort of an oil slick appearance. Our molds are all dusted, so now it is time for me to just mix up some resin. Okay, our resin is mixed up, and I'm going to very carefully, like I said, these are really tiny molds, so I'm going to try to very carefully fill up these 2 with the clear resin first. try to make sure that these are nice and filled. Not too overflowed, so I'm using a toothpick to kind of scrape away some of this resin that has kind of bubbled over. Those two are nice and filled, and we are gonna go, I'm gonna add just like a dot of black alcohol ink and a little bit of some black mica powder to create our black resin. They also make dispersion colors for this exact thing to turn resin like deep dark colors. But I find that the powder and alcohol ink actually works pretty well. All right, and now I'm just gonna do the same thing into these other two. So all four of our little guys have been filled. So I'm gonna wait probably around 48 hours for the resin to cure fully, and then I will pop them out for you guys, show you what it is that we actually made, and then we're going to be taking them and turning them into something else. It has been a few days, so our resin is fully cured, and I am going to take the silicone mold outside to demold and reveal what items we made out in the natural light. So, did you guys guess little skulls? We knew they were going to be tiny from the dimensions, but did anybody guess that they were going to be teeny tiny skulls? I actually really like the two that we made with just the clear resin. I think it gives it kind of a nice delicate look, and this one even looks kind of like candy to me. But I think what takes the cake are these two that we did with the black resin. I mean, the reason I wanted to use the black resin is because I think the pigments show up so much more vibrantly when they have the black background. And I mean, I wasn't wrong. This one even has the nice oil spill effect with the purples and greens and blues, just like I wanted. Now, the reason that our skulls are so itty bitty is because they are meant to be resin beads or pendants. And so we are going to be taking the 4 skulls that we made and turning them into necklaces. We are actually going to be making these necklaces 2 different ways, but here is all of the items that we are going to be needing. I have some nice necklace chain on a spool, some screw eyes, some jump rings, and then the closures that you need to fasten a necklace together. We've got our 4 different skulls over here, and last but not least, I have my hand drill. If you feel comfortable using a electric drill, that is fine by me. You could also use a Dremel. This is just meant for jewelry making, and it's really nice and easy to work with. The first method we're going to be using to create our necklaces is using the hand drill, and we're just gonna drill straight through these suckers. We have to keep in mind the eye holes that are in here, so we want to set our holes back decently far, so as we drill, we're not gonna be popping through. So I'm gonna take my hand drill, position it pretty far back, holding steady. And I like to drill a little bit on one side and then rotate and go a little bit on the opposite side. All right, our hole goes all the way through on both sides, and I even like to put the drill bit all the way through and run it a couple of times so it is a nice, smooth, seamless hole for you to put your chain through. And now I'm going to do the same exact thing to our silver one that I made with the clear resin. We now have two little skulls with holes that go all the way through. For our other two skulls, we are going to be using these screw eyes in the tops of them. So I have my two skulls and two of my screw eyes. And the nice thing is these screw eyes have a little bit of a grip to them because they have the screw part, but we are still going to be using the hand drill and a smaller drill bit to drill just a little bit so the screw can have something to grip onto. So I'm going to very carefully find the top and drill just a little bit in. And once you have your hole drilled in the top wherever you want it at, you can slowly start putting in this screw eye and gently twist and twist until you get it all the way tightened in there. And once you have your screw all the way in, then you just want to make sure that it is angled towards the outside so you can string your chain through this way. So I am going to do the exact same thing to our little pink skull as well. So when it comes to creating necklaces, I am not super familiar with it, but I found something that works. If this is the incorrect way to make necklaces, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So you're just gonna take your amount of chain for your necklace part. You can choose to make this as long or as short as you want. It is your necklace. So I'm gonna have it about this long, and I'm gonna use these wire cutters to cut through my chain. So I am first going to put my little skull on here. So I'm first going to attach my little skull, and then on each of these ends, you're gonna want a jump ring. And then for those of you who know necklaces, one side is going to have the eye and the other is going to have the hook. And what we're gonna do is I have wire cutters, but if you have pliers, those are much easier to work with. I have no idea where my pliers went. So we are going to use these to open up the jump ring and attach both the necklace chain and either the eye or the hook to it. And voila, here are our two necklaces. I made one of them just a little bit shorter than the other, but they each have a nice skull bead on them. And voila, now we have 2 necklaces with those skulls. I want to apologize to you guys if that necklace making portion was a little hard to see in detail with just the overhead camera. I will still be taking all of these necklaces into the natural light so you can get a good look at them. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it and that maybe it inspired you to create something fun. If you liked it, feel free to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. There's a whole bunch of stuff down in my description box below. There are links for my Instagram, my PayPal, and my Facebook page, which has items that we have made in these videos up for sale. There's also a list of all of the materials that we used in this week's video if you would like to try to make something on your own at home. I'll see you guys all for the next video. Cheers!